Alright you guys, it is Monday morning and I've got to take the truck and get the oil changed, and left the house, realized I didn't fix myself a coffee. So I stopped into Warehouse Coffee right here on Main Street in Hartselle, got myself a latte, and I got some sausage balls. Not very many coffee shops have non-bready, carby options, but they've got sausage balls and they are yummy. Hey guys, sitting out here on the front porch. It is overcast and gray. You would think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock right now, but it's actually only about 3. I just got done putting my fence back up around the front garden area, our front yard. We took it down a few weeks ago. Actually, probably might have been a couple months ago now. Month and a half, somewhere around there. Took it down, cleaned up the front area and everything when we were kind of finishing up with the summer garden, and mowed it all down, got rid of all the weeds and all of that. And you know, it had to go back. Mr. Smith does not like this fence. He thinks it's a pain. He thinks it's a pain to mow around and all of that. But you know what? I'm overruling him. I don't do that very often, but I'm overruling him today because every afternoon when he comes home from work, he lets the older chicken flock out to free roam. And what do? The second that door opens, they make a beeline for my garden. And right now, the big garden, I'm not worried about that, but it's this garden, the front garden, that they make a run for. And, you know, I got that load of mulch not too long ago. I came out here, I mulched my flower bed, I mulched around my blueberry bushes and all of that. And not to mention all of the grass clippings that I raked up to fill my raised beds and all of that. And the chickens come straight for it and demolish it. I've got mulch everywhere, all over the sidewalk. The grass clippings, which are doing a great job of breaking down into soil, are everywhere. So like my raised beds are now half empty. So the fence is going back up around here. Now eventually, yes, we are going to put some sort of pretty fence in the front, but for the meantime, yeah, it's just gonna have to be this rabbit fencing because it's gotta keep the chickens out. See, I mean, just look at this disaster area. So I will come out here probably tomorrow and scrape all of this mulch back up and put it back in the flower bed. I mean, what a disaster. And then my poor raised beds, but that's just a nightmare as well. I'm gonna have to gather up more stuff to put in there. But yeah, this is just a wreck. So the chickens just do a number on it. But I wanted to show you some of the things that are left here out front. I mean, look at this rosemary bush. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? I love it. This is just one of my favorite things to grow. I will just come out here and, oh, it smells so good. This right here is torch flowers. They will come back in the spring. There's a little bit of lemon balm left in there. A lot of the stuff is dying off. We've had several strong freezes, but there's a little bit hanging on. Got some chocolate mint here. It's trying, but I don't think it'll be around much longer. So a while back, I did a video where I talked about keeping a garden journal and why it's important to do that. Now originally I did all of my journaling in my bullet journal, and I use the Cahiers journals, I believe they're called. They are very, very handy. However, I decided that that particular size was probably not the greatest for my garden journal, and so I recently transferred everything to a larger 8 by 10 size journal. Same brand, this is the Moleskine type brand, or Moleskine, but this gives me a little bit more room to work with, especially when it comes to doing my diagrams of the garden, where the beds are, what's in each bed, and things like that. And because I do want to have this kind of for posterity, in a sense, when I was planning my seed purchases for 2019, this is just my preliminary list, and I didn't want it to mess up my pages, so I have post-it notes with all of the different seeds that I'm thinking of getting, and of course where I'm getting them from. Most of these seeds will be coming from Baker Creek, just because honestly they're my favorite people to get seeds from. I think they're fantastic. I have great experience using them. They just have a good track record, and so I'll be getting a lot of my seeds from them next year. So just a quick rundown. This is, like I said, my preliminary list. I have been going through catalogs and websites and all of that, narrowing down what I want to grow this coming year. Some of these things are things that I've grown in the past that I have had great success with. Some of them are things that I've seen other people grow that I want to give a try myself. Some of them are oldies but goodies that I'm bringing back, and so I thought very quickly I would go through my list. Now this isn't going to be an all-encompassing list. There are other things that I will add later on. This is just my first draft of what I want to get. So first up is Bonnie Best tomatoes. They are a classic. I've had really good success growing them in the past, and I'll be doing them again this year. Now the other two that I have written down here are ones I have not tried before, but seem to have excellent reviews. One of them I've seen on Roots and Refuge Farms channel, and that's the Dr. Witchy, or Dr. Witchy, however you want to say it. I want to give those a try, and then I also want to try the Blue Beauties. Those are the 3 tomato varieties that I have planned so far. Now for peppers, I plan to grow a few varieties of those, just because we do use peppers for different things. Peppers is something that we do consume a lot of. I really want to have the ability to grow as many of the herbs and spices that I use myself as much as possible. And so there's a few of these things that I've grown in the past and I want to grow again, and there's some things that I want to give a try, including paprika. I would love to have my own paprika that I've grown in the garden and dried and ground up myself, and so paprika peppers is one that I want to add. The lilac bell pepper is a new one I want to give a try. California Wonder bell pepper, those are classic. I've grown them many times. I will probably grow them every year. They are just a traditional good bell pepper. Cubanelles, I've grown them in the past. I didn't grow them this last year, but I've really enjoyed having those in the garden. Jalapeno peppers. Now the cubanelles and the jalapenos, I don't have a specific variety that I'm planning. I just know that those are ones I do want to grow. And then Tabasco peppers. That is one that I saw that Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm had grown, and holy moly, those things are prolific. And I've been wanting to grow those, and when I saw them in her garden, that just kind of sealed the deal. I definitely want to grow those. So moving on to herbs, none of these are new to me. These are all things that I've either grown in the past or grow every year. That includes cinnamon basil, Genovese basil, purple opal basil. I love basil plants. I love them. They serve not only medicinal and herbal purposes, but they are excellent to grow in the garden with your tomatoes. They're great for keeping pests away. When you let them go to flower, they're great for the pollinators. And so I just love having lots of basil in the garden. Tulsi basil or holy basil, that is something I grew last year. That may actually come back on its own because it is self-seeding, and I still actually have my great big plant there in place. I haven't pulled it out, so that may come back on its own, but I will probably go ahead and order some seeds just in case. English thyme, marjoram, oregano. I like the classic Greek oregano, and sage. Those are all things that like I said, I either grow every year or I have grown in the past. I do have a couple things I wanted to add. That is Thai rosella, which is a perennial. It's a flower and an herb, and red rosella. Those are just, they kind of spoke to me when I was going through the catalog. So I plan on adding those this year, and we'll see. Up next is beans. I only have 2 beans written down, and again, this is not an all-encompassing list because I do still have seeds in my stash, which I will talk about in an upcoming video. But these are things that I definitely want to order this year. So the first bean that I want to order is the noodle beans. I have heard so many people talking about these. They look fun to grow, and I figure why not? We'll give them a try. And then another one I have written down is called the NT Half Runner. And those are through the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. If you're not familiar with SESE, that is a great source for people who live in the southeastern United States. When you're going through the catalog or through the website, it actually shows you which varieties have been developed and grown and very successful in the southeastern hot climate that we have down here. That's a company that I use quite often. They also tell you if they are heirloom. They tell you if the seeds come from one farm. So it's a pretty good source for seeds in case you've not heard of them. Alright, on to flowers. Now, I have to tell you, there are certain flowers that I absolutely love to grow. I want them in my garden on the farm every single year. Number 1, sunflowers. I love sunflowers. Big, small, yellow, orange, red, I don't care. I want sunflowers. And so I will be doing a couple different kinds of sunflowers this coming year. Most of them are repeats. One of them is a new one, the lemon queens. I've never done those, but they look like a great one to grow. Zinnias. I love zinnias. I love how they just bloom and bloom and bloom. The color is so cheerful, and so I have 4 different varieties that I want to get the seeds for and grow next year. The Mazurkia, the Persian Carpet, and the Queen Lime Orange. Those are all from Baker Creek. And then there is a mixed color, like I think it was called a State Fair mixed color, from the or the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. Those are the 4 that I want to do next year. Cosmos are another favorite flower of mine. Those 3, the sunflowers, the zinnias, and the cosmos, honestly, I plan on having those every single year in some variety or a couple of varieties. I absolutely love those flowers. Some of the other ones that I want to grow this coming year, though, are Sweet Alyssum. I love it. I think it's a great flower. It's not one I've ever grown, but I do want to add it next year. Another is Straw Flowers. I've grown those before, but it's been ages, and those are just a fun flower. They dry very, very well. So if you cut them and let them dry, they keep their shape and pretty much all of their color. So they're fantastic for decorations later on in the fall after summer's over. A couple of the other flowers I want to grow is salvia. I've grown that before. It's a cheerful flower that grows out there. And then something new is the toothache flower. It's just, first of all, it's a cute, adorable little flower, but it's kind of cool, the toothache flower. Anyways, want to grow that. And then a few other things that don't really fall into those categories. Let's see, buttercrunch lettuce, the Landis winter lettuce. Now some of these will be for the fall garden as well. Scarlet kale, the Ford Hook zucchini, the Quixote red carrots, that's a fall carrot. Danvers carrot, classic, grown it before, always grows great. Parsnips. I want to give parsnips a try. I figure it can't be much different than growing carrots, and we eat parsnips, but I've never grown them. So the ones I'm going to get are the Hollow Crown from Baker Creek, and then cucumbers, Muncher cucumbers, that's a repeat, ones I've grown before, as well as the Snow's Fancy Pickling cucumbers. Those are the ones we grew this year. We grew them out here on our trellis out front. They grew fantastic, and so I want to repeat those. And then I want to grow some beets, but I'm going to try the golden beets, all the beet flavor, all the beet nutrition without the red color. So I thought those might be interesting to give a try. And then something else that I want to try, loofah. I think I want to give loofah a try and see what happens. We'll see. I mean, all you can do is give it a try, right? So that is my preliminary list. I may adjust some things here or there, add some things, maybe change some things out, but as of right now, those are the seeds that I plan on ordering for my 2019 garden. So if you maybe have some experience with any of those, especially the ones that I said I've never grown before, I would love to hear your thoughts about those, or maybe if you have some suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. So that is it, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and go say hello to Mr. Smith. He just came home a few minutes ago. So, and of course he let the chickens out, and all the chickens ran straight for the fence and realized they can't get in my front garden. Alright, you guys, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. My name is Constance. This is Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and until next time, love and blessings.